Welcome back to John, your daily sports sump. Today we've got a special guest, Bradley basketball's own AJ Smith. He's a homegrown Illinois guy who found his way back to the 309. He's already making some noise on the hilltop. We're diving into his journey from growing up in Illinois, his path through college hoops, and what it means to come back home and wear the red and white for the Braves. AJ, welcome to John.
How you doing?
Um, Obviously, thank you for taking time. I know season just started, so it's kind of a busy time for you right now. But I was happy we were able to work this out. And like I was telling you before we started, have some questions for my mom, and then we'll start with my questions of the interview.
Okay, sounds good.
If you could play one game in any famous basketball arena, where would it be and why?
Mm. Um, I guess I'd want to play in like Madison Square Garden. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I feel like that's where a lot of people would want to play at. I mean, obviously wanting to play professionally. Just playing there in the Garden in New York, it's kind of a different atmosphere, different kind of vibes to it. Plus, it's so like I guess renowned like around like the basketball community and everybody wanting to play there because of the Knicks, Carmelo, and all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Totally. And also, I think when you watch, right, I'm a Bulls fan, obviously, and I always think of Last Dance, the Mecca of basketball. That's what they call it. Like it's just
Yeah.
awesome. And then now with St. John's, how St. John's is starting to become on the back to like their old college powerhouse. Like the
Hmm.
atmosphere there is probably awesome. So I could definitely agree. Since you're just a little better than me at basketball. I can imagine like going there as a fan would be sick, but even being on the court is something that I think is really cool. And then my mom's got one more question, and then we'll uh start with my questions.
Okay.
What is your go-to comfort meal?
Oh man, my go-to comfort meal probably just chicken Alfredo. I guess you could
Yeah.
say. It's kind of a classic. You can never really go wrong with it. I guess. Just had
I'm
it actually. So
I'm a big Alfredo guy. Have you right? Obviously, we're in Peoria. You're going to talk One World. Have you had One World's chicken Alfredo yet?
no, I normally I eat one world breakfast a lot though.
One World breakfast is legit. That's what I had. That's how I was like, I think I'm gonna go to Bradley because of their food.
Yeah.
Then I slowly realized, dorm food and stuff will get you.
Yeah.
So right, I talked about when I introduced you. You're an Illinois guy. For those who don't know, where did you grow up, and what was it like playing basketball in that town in the area?
I'm from Edwardsville, Illinois. The 618, Madison County. It's a good competitive area. I mean, we have a lot of like kind of slept on guys, a lot of people under the radar, but it's a very talented area. A lot of guys in my class or on my AAU teams and stuff. A lot of us are playing college basketball right now, but overall, I think it's a really good area.
Mhm.
Obviously, that and then the St. Louis area right across the river with the 314. It's a really good basketball area. I mean, it's on the rise, I'd say. It's kind of more like a football, soccer kind
Yeah.
of area with baseball too. But I'd say basketball is definitely on the rise there, but the competition level there is really good.
Totally, totally. And then what made the basketball culture in Illinois special to you growing up, right? You when you're growing up, especially you're a little older than me, obviously, but right, we were kind of growing up. We're in Illinois. You think Derrick Rose, like all the that. So what made the basketball atmosphere, right? You talked about how competitive it was in Edwardsville and kind of where you're from, but what made it so special there?
Um, I don't know. I mean, I think just watching it on TV all the time kind of like sparked an interest in me. And obviously, like my brother, he was Gatorade Player of the Year, Mr. Basketball, and just being around that and like going on the visits and stuff, kind of kind of like sparked something in me that I wanted to really do this, play in front of all these fans and stuff. And then also just growing up in basketball with like Illinois basketball. I mean, obviously, Indiana known for basketball, but like obviously you want Illinois where you're from to be known for basketball, being a basketball player. But yeah, Derrick Rose, Jabari Parker, Chiolo for like all these people were like considered great athletes, professional athletes. I mean, you hear them about them all the time, like Derrick Rose, everybody's like says he's the best person in like Chicago. Everybody knows him. So just him obviously being on at the top of the state, like it's kind of weird, but because I'm all the way at the bottom, but it's a great thing though.
Totally, totally. And to kind of build off of that, talked a little bit about your brother. Um, what was it like having someone who's at the top of the pedestal, right? He's Gatorade player, like just has done everything. What was that like kind of growing up with that and also right kind of looking up to that as well?
Um, it was pretty hard. I mean, obviously I put a lot of pressure on myself and just like thinking that all this stuff was gonna happen or just because he was my brother, but that wasn't the case. And obviously I ended up figuring it out that basketball was really like the career path that I wanted to go on. And him being there and like being at these different levels is like always motivation to myself that that anything's possible, that I can get to the goals I want to reach in life. And obviously with God, like keeping my faith in God every day, it really helps a lot.
Totally, totally. Um, this one I feel like I kind of already know the answer just from talking, but I'm gonna ask it. Was there any like local people or teams or players that you kind of looked up to as a kid, right? Obviously, you always you're gonna right when you're the younger brother, you're obviously gonna look up to your brother. But if there was anyone else, or if it's your brother, who would you look up to, and why did you kind of be like, I want to play
Um,
like that?
yeah, I'd definitely say it was probably like my brother. I mean, just him like seeing like the how much work he put in every day and like all the visits and stuff, like I mentioned earlier, just like seeing all that stuff, it was like real motivation and like it was kind of like a different lifestyle, that I wanted to reach and just get to, but it definitely takes a lot of sacrifice. Like
Oh,
sometimes some people realize it, but like I don't know how many people do realize like how much you're sacrificing every day just to try to achieve your goals. And if it works out, it works out, but sometimes it doesn't. So it's like obviously there's backup plans people talk about, but at the end of the day, you always want to try to reach your main goals. So watching him work every day and stuff like that was definitely very motivational.
totally, totally. And right, I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything, but I think with all the athletes that I've interviewed, right, I've interviewed professional athletes, I've interviewed D1 athletes. Um, I thought going into college, like I knew how much work athletes put in, but then when I'm talking to them and they tell me their practice schedule, like right, I know the college guys have a lot, but these pro athletes, like I've interviewed some of them in the off season, and their whole off season revolves around either getting their bodies right because one of the dudes I interviewed is dealing with an injury. He works out all day trying to get his body right. So I think that's something that really stands out is you don't nobody realizes, and the only reason why I've been able to realize that is because I've been able to interview so many guys. So like the normal fan, and I would consider myself a pretty normal slash hardcore sports fan, don't even realize it until you start talking to the athletes and realize how much hard work they put in.
Yeah, I brought it up in like a class earlier, like going from college and basketball, you play 30 some games, but then like you go to the NBA, you play literally 80 games. So it's like you're jumping up fifty games and you're going to all these different cities and stuff. And you might practice a couple times a week, but you're traveling four times out of the week maybe. So it's
Exactly.
like you're moving around constantly. Plus I mean, everybody in college, you kind of never, you barely see your family, but like
Mm-hmm.
in professional sports, you hardly
Oh,
see your family.
yeah.
Like, so,
And then my next sort of question, um, right, you always hear in these stories, guys, professional athletes are like, it was that moment when I knew I could be something special. I could do this for a living, possibly, but also at the next level. Did you kind of have a moment, and this could be in high school, AAU, middle school, even, when you were like, all right, this I could see myself playing at the next level.
yeah, high school, I kind of didn't know what I wanted to do. It was kind of just all up in the air just because I guess I don't know. I don't know if it was ego or just, I don't know, ignorance, but I don't know. I guess once I got to like prep school, I did like a year post grad, and that was kind of whenever I figured out like, okay, like this is something I really want to do and put in a lot of time and effort into just because I had a lot of joy in it. And then obviously like at the same time I was looking at it like, okay, I don't want to just be sitting down. Like I want to keep playing sports. So just that was kind of like my motivation as well. Is like not wanting to work in like office, but obviously the ball will stop bouncing someday. But just trying to play this for as long as I can and make a living off of it.
Totally, totally. As someone who is currently, I just got out of the hospital 2 weeks ago. I was dealing with strep throat and mono, and obviously I still have mono. So I can't. If for people who don't know, watching mono, you can't do any physical activity for a month basically. And I also got 2 more weeks left of that. And I would always I would shoot hoops and do runs at the um like rec center,
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, it's only a month. It's not that bad. I've lost 15 pounds. And like, I'm so, right. I love having a single room. But I mean, I'm so excited to get out of this place in 2 weeks and just be able to actually do stuff. So I
yeah,
completely get what you mean when you're like, I don't want to just sit around and do nothing because I'm doing that right now and it sucks.
yeah.
Um, so what you talked a little bit, right? You went to prep school. What was your high school basketball experience like? And were there any moments that still sort of are in your head right now? You're a senior in college, so it was a little bit ago, but are there any moments you still remember and are very proud of?
Um, oh man, I don't know. I mean, it was so up and down. I mean, obviously, like not making like state ever or like making it to like to sectionals or super sectionals. That was like a hard time for me, or like just because like I always wanted to try to go to state. My brother made it to state once, but it's also so hard. Like at the same time, because you're trying to be the best in your class. So just like not making it to state, I guess, was like a real downer for me, I guess, in my high school career.
Totally, totally. And we've seen since you got to college, it's been kind of the opposite. You've been pretty successful at all your stops. And now we'll kind of transition into college. After high school, you went to Southern Indiana, which is a relatively small school, in the Ohio Valley Conference. What led to that decision, right? I feel like, and I was talking to my dad before, uh, this morning, and I was telling him how I'm interviewing you, and I was like, I feel like you're a perfect embodiment of a current modern day college basketball player, where you had to transfer to find your fit, and you found your fit at all the schools you've been to. So what led to Southern Indiana being that first destination and that choice of, all right, this is the place for me right now?
Um, I mean, obviously, like the proximity to home. I mean, I was just at prep school. It was 13 hours away. Parents couldn't come to any games, so then transferring, well, not transferring, attending Southern Indiana, it was a good fit for me. I mean, my freshman year, obviously, I didn't play a lot. Had some bumps in the road, with just trying to get my head on straight, just focusing on basketball. I was just kind of overwhelmed. Obviously, I wanted to play, didn't play, and just like the mental side kind of kicked in, and then it just kind of, I guess, shifted around. Like I tried to go in the transfer portal, they let me come back, and then had a personally had a successful season. Obviously, we didn't win too many games, which was a downer, but it helped me learn a lot about like how to work for a lot of things and how nothing is really given to you in life, because obviously coming from prep school, I was like, okay, I'm gonna play, want to be freshman of the year, all this other stuff, thinking out all these goals, and that didn't happen. And then my coaches really showed me how to really work for what you want. Next year I came in, worked out every day, and then kind of like transitioned into a bigger role.
Totally, totally. And you saw that for people who aren't like me and just look up your stats and all that. You had a big jump from your freshman year. You didn't really start that much. Sophomore year, you played a lot and were able to capitalize off that and take your talents obviously to JMU. What was tough being away from home, family, and right? Obviously, you're still Southern Indiana isn't too far, but still, you're not in Illinois. You're in Indiana. So what was that kind of adjustment like and being away and stuff? And then even for when you were at JMU as well, what was because that's right. You go from Indiana. JMU is it's in one of the Carolinas, correct?
Then Virginia.
Virginia. So
Yeah.
that's like you go from right a couple hour drive, maybe an hour to you're all the way on the East Coast. So what was that kind of transition like for you?
Um, I mean, it was kind of normal. I mean, because I had just lived in North Carolina 2 years, 3 years prior, actually. And then, but going from where my parents were coming to almost all my games to they weren't able to see one was kind of like, it was a little bit of a downer. Obviously, like you haven't seen your family in so long that it's kind of takes like a mental, but at the same time, you just gotta keep on pushing forward because at the end of the day, like it's your job. Like it's my job
Totally.
to go out there and perform and produce rebounds, whatever it is.
Mhm.
But I mean, living sometimes obviously it sucks. You know, like whether you're sick or something and can't call home, or, like can't go home to parents and all that stuff. So
I can being sick at college, like I wasn't really sick at all last year, and I'm a sophomore. Um, so this is my first real experience of being sick at college.
hmm
Oh my, the amount of times I texted my mother, I just want to be home right now. Like, cause right, you're used to, especially me when I'm sick, and I feel like for most guys, you don't want to do anything. You just want to be taken care of.
yeah,
And that was, oh, that was so bad. I have so many cans of soup left over now. Um,
yeah,
but I can agree. Being at college and right, I'm from Illinois, so this is a 2 hour drive, I think, from my house, 2.5, 3, and even then sucks. So I can imagine what it's like being on the all the way on the East Coast. So we've talked about it a little bit. You've obviously been in the portal. What was it? What's it like being in a transfer portal when right everyone, not everyone obviously, but a lot of coaches are trying to get you to come play for them. What is that kind of like, and how does that make you feel? Right, a bunch of people want you. So what is that kind of feeling like, and what is it like being in the portal?
it's kind of like it's like a feel good almost at the same time. Like it's like a I don't know, it's kind of like a feel good but a humbling moment because like in high school I wasn't recruited that much. Had no offers. I had like one offer coming out of high school, didn't take it, and then going to sometimes in these portals, depending on like your numbers or if your team's winning or not, you could have 30 coaches calling you or you could have five. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I mean, it's good, but at the same time, like you kind of got to go fast with it. But at this, you also want to make sure it's like the right decision because
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, you're betting on yourself, you know,
Exactly.
to go and produce, and because you're leaving a situation that may be good for you, it may be not the best, but you're going into something that you're going to bet on yourself, and you're going to learn these coaches or make a bond with these coaches in a week or two for something that could affect the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Totally.
definitely I don't know, it's weird, but at the same time, like you're answering calls all day. You might be talking to the same people every day, you know, different coaching staffs every day, and just trying to figure out who has the best interest for you and who's going to develop you to be able to extend your career.
Mm-hmm. Totally. And to kind of build off of that, you've been in the portal twice. What was the more stressful one? Was it the first time, right? You're still kind of learning the ropes, or was it this past off season, right? After JMU, you're looking at obviously other mid majors, potentially some other power fours. Which one was more of a stressful kind of time for you where, right, you're still learning the ropes on the first go around, obviously, but the second time you're potentially getting more and bigger schools looking at you as well. So which one would you say is a little more stressful?
Um, I'd say probably the second one. I mean, the first one I was kind of just like, I don't know, I guess going with the flow. Who was gonna get me like to a winning program? Like who's gonna
Mm-hmm.
win? Because obviously the year we had at Southern Indiana, we didn't win. We won I think 8 games. It wasn't a good it wasn't good environment. Like mentally, it wasn't. I wasn't in like a good state because I wanted to win so bad, and we were losing so much. And obviously, like I wanted to go somewhere where winning was like a key. Which I mean, winning's a key everywhere, but like
Mm-hmm.
somewhere that's like known for winning. JMU had just had a crazy season, and then the coaching staff that went there, they were a good staff that was in my league in the OVC. And then, but this year, with my senior year, obviously it's my last go around, so it's like, all right, I gotta really make sure this is the right one, right fit, and something that I can go into with confidence and something that I could really try to make my mark and help get my career going, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
also that's known
Bradley,
for winning.
yeah, I was about to you beat me right to it. And all the talks that I've had with guys, I don't know if you know the name of Niwa Tate Jones. He was at UC San Diego last year. Talking to him, I've talked to a few other guys, like other college basketball players who aren't here, and they all know Bradley and respect Bradley as one of the most winning mid majors. And I also think, right, you talked about winning, but also you look at the Valley. The Valley is one of the best mid major conferences in the country, and
Yeah.
right, that's not a shot. JMU's in the Sun Belt, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, I think we were like 18. I think the Sun Belt was like 18, and I think the Valley was 9 or 8 last year.
Yeah. So like it's a big jump, but I mean, you haven't really experienced the Valley play yet, but it is one of the best things to watch for me as a fan. Now, obviously, we'll talk about Bradley. You came back home to Illinois. What was that feeling like? Right, you're 2 games in this season now. What was that feeling like walking into Carver Arena wearing Bradley across your chest for the first time last Thursday?
I mean, it was great. It was a great experience. Obviously, fans were it was I think it was about 6,000 people there,
Yeah, it was a good
and
crowd.
then I mean, just seeing all those people there, all the red and the cheers, it was a great thing. Especially like the little pregame, all the little kids, you go around high five them. But I mean, just being able to play for Coach Wardle and them and all my teammates, it was a great experience. We put in such a great amount of work and time, and we're still learning. Still learning how to string practices together and stuff like that. But to go out there and show it, like, and put it all together, it was a big moment for us. So we just got to keep pushing forward, and I mean, that'll keep motivating me because obviously I love to play in front of a lot of people. So obviously, winning brings them. So we just got to keep
Exactly.
on
I was
winning,
about to
and
say you keep on winning, you're gonna get some crowds and I'll tell
yeah,
you this now, especially if we are what we're supposed to be this year, that ISU game is gonna be one of your favorite games of the season.
yeah.
At home at Carver. Last year I was there and I think it was 10,000. It was a sellout crowd. It's one of the best atmospheres I've ever been at. What does it personally mean to you to be playing back in your home state, right? I've kind of hammered it home. You're an Illinois guy, but what does it mean to play for a Illinois school?
It means a lot. I mean, being from Illinois, I mean, my parents played in both at Illinois schools, so it means a lot, especially for like myself and like what I've gone through. I feel like the journey that I've been through to get to this point, it means a lot just because it's a representation of myself and like my parents and like the work ethic that they put into me and that I've started doing, because I feel like I put in a lot of work this off season and just to prove a lot of people haven't heard of like where I'm from. So to try to kind of put that place on the map, man, and really get that spot on notice.
Totally. Yeah, I was watching. I went to the game on Thursday, and they gave you obviously your player introduction. And one of my buddies who I was watching with goes, "He's from Illinois," and I was like, "Yeah, yeah," because right, obviously, I've done some research and stuff, so I knew that. But yeah, that's like that just made me think of it, where it's like most people don't even know that you're from Illinois. Um,
Yeah.
how did your family react when you were saying when you told them I think I'm gonna commit to Bradley and I'm gonna stay in Illinois?
I mean, they were happy, obviously, being closer to home. Now they're like, oh, now we can finally come to games. And I mean, they were really excited for me, especially because the conference and Coach Wardle's background and his winning programs that he's had. So they were really excited and to see where I'll end up and how the season will go and with our team. And obviously, they want to go to March. They want to come to watch me play in March. So it was just a nice gesture, obviously, because they were really happy that I was back in Illinois.
Totally, totally. And we talked about obviously you committed to Bradley over other schools. Obviously, what made Bradley the place for you, right? Obviously, last year, very successful year, fell short. Um, what made you be like, all right, I'm gonna go to Bradley because it was gonna be a new faces. You knew coming in, right? Duke was gone, Zeke was gone, Darius was gone, CD was gone, Atlas and Almar transferred. So a lot of new faces. What made you really be like, all right, this is this place for me?
Um, Obviously, the relationship I'd say what I built with Coach Wardle and them and their background that was key. I feel like in picking my next school, and then also like who's gonna like put me on the highest level because being somebody who wasn't recruited, I wanted to play on the highest stage possible, and prove that to myself that I can play at the highest level, or
Mhm.
keep pushing myself to get to the next level every time. So Choosing Bradley, obviously, the proximity to home was a big factor, and then really, it was the bond and like the player development coaching them have here, and that they're known for because coach always preaches it. He's like, I get my guys paid, and I make sure that they get to the next level and that they can build habits that it's going to help them at the next level.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you see with I think all four of those guys that graduated out are now all playing professionally.
Yeah,
So
and that's a
he
real
backs it
big
up.
goal of mine.
We talked a little bit about Coach Wardle. How's the transition been with Coach Wardle in the new program? Right, you came in as a free agent, right? Like new program, new offense, new defense. So what was that kind of like? And obviously, right, you've been here since the summer, so obviously you've had time, but still, what was that transition kind of like?
It was new. I mean, I had to learn a whole bunch of new concepts, obviously, like you were saying, new defense, new offense. So it definitely took me a little while to get used to and kind of figure out how to just flow with everything that he was wanting to do and just play freely because he's always preaching. He's always preaching, just shoot your catch and shoot your open looks, drive the ball hard, and all these other things. But he really preaches a lot of stuff defensively, just so because I mean, you probably heard the term like offense wins games, defense wins championships. So he's really prided us in that and being physical. He wants us to be the Bradley Bullies again. I'm pretty sure is what it's called. But yeah, no, being physical and then just our defense is very key, and that's something I've been trying to work on every day.
I mean, you talked Bradley Bullies. I mean, I'm not going to beat it around the bush, but you have Bully on your team, and he just went
Yeah, he
off
did
for
just have a
30
crazy
some
game.
points. So
Yeah.
you got a good spot in having the bullies, right? You already got one bully. Um, what is something right for the Bradley fans watching? What is something that Bradley fans might not see about the grind that goes into Bradley basketball and the work that you guys put in?
I don't even know. I mean, the countless hours. I mean, we're the practices. I mean, how intense our practices get some days, and just like the competitive nature and competitive spirit that we've always been trying to build and keep on building on to just make practice as competitive as possible every day to simulate it like a game, or to at least make it harder than the game so the game can be a little bit easier for us.
Totally, totally. And then how would you describe this year's team with right? I talked about a little before, but there's a lot of new faces, right? The only really returning starters are Quan, Osho, Meta. That might be it. If
And
if I'm
Corey.
Oh, Corey. Yeah, Corey. So, right, four guys and the rest are basically new dudes. So, what is that kind of like, right? This team, I feel like I was telling how you are kind of in a good embodiment of a current college basketball player. I feel like this team is a perfect embodiment of right current college basketball and the landscape of it. Got some new high end recruits, but also a bunch of transfers and some returning guys. So, what has that kind of been like?
It's been an experience. I mean, we have a lot of incoming freshmen. I think we have 7 freshmen on the team. We got 3 people who transferred in, and then all over the returners with Timo and all of them. And then, I mean, it's just been a growing. It's kind of just been like we hit little bumps in the road every time, like a couple times. So like just trying to figure out and how to learn from our mistakes and learn from the bumps or just learning. I feel like that's our biggest key is just like trying to learn how to play together, learn what works for us best, what's the best thing for us to do at the current possession, how can we win the day at practice, stuff like that.
Totally, totally. And I think you saw in the right. Obviously, you don't want to talk about it, but in their loss to St. Bonaventure, I felt like in that second half, especially in those last 5-10 minutes, you really start to see saw the offense click, and that transitioned perfectly over to the Central Michigan game. Because even though right Central Michigan, it felt like for most of the first half, and then around 5-10 minutes into the second, you guys always had a lead, but they were always battling. But your offense kept on right and fighting and fighting, and the defense kept on coming out and out. So I think you saw in the first half of the St. Bonnie game, you saw right the cobwebs, right the new team, and then you saw a click on the offensive side. Our three started falling. Defense started to play well. We started to force hard, rough shots on them, and I think they transitioned perfectly over
Yeah.
Central Michigan. And you guys got your work cut out for you coming up this week against UT Martin. That's going to be one of the best games in the country, right? Mid majors set aside, I think it's going to be a great game, and I'll obviously, I'll be
Yeah.
there. What is there a teammate that sort of helped you settle in here and get comfortable with Peoria and the whole Bradley basketball system?
Hmm. Probably Corey. I mean, Corey's always like a real vocal guy. He's always helping us out on and off the court. And then obviously like Dietrich, him being an incoming freshman, being from the area, him and Zobes. Um, they're always talking. They always helping us out and telling us what's cool, what's cool to do, what's around to eat. But no, I mean, really a lot of them. Everybody's kind of like chipped in some sort of fashion on like it's helping people settle in and helping me settle in. Obviously, like my roommate Alex, great dude. And we always are just talking, what do we want to do together, stuff, just to like keep on building chemistry off the court.
Totally.
Just so like on the court, it's just like slow motion, like
Exactly.
everything's just flowing.
Totally. What right, you've only been at Bradley for a few months, but in your time here, what do you think what part of your game would you say has grown the most?
My shooting, I'd say my shooting has definitely grown the most, just
You
because the work, I guess, I put in.
totally, yeah. You definitely put I was, and I'm not saying this right to be a hater. You put up more threes than I expected, and they've been falling as well. So that's something that I think if you told yourself that last year that you would be putting up a lot more threes, I don't think you would believe it. But it's starting to work, and that's how teams like Bradley, right? That's how we're going to beat and compete with those Power Four schools, right? Even though it's a it's going to be a hard game, right? If we play a Power Four school, a game how those mid major, how these smaller teams win is 3-point shooting, right? Last year, I think our team was the best percentage wise 3-point shooting team in the nation. So you came to the right spot if you want to work on your shooting. We like to create good 3-point shooters for some reason.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Um,
for sure.
so this is kind of the last, like, it's five questions or five, just like kind of like not as serious, just kind of little more laid back. So who's the hardest player you've ever had to guard in your basketball career? And this could be like any level that you can think of. Either it could be the biggest name or someone that not a lot of people know, but was kind of a pain in the butt to guard.
Um, Probably I don't know, Jeremy Roach, I feel like was pretty hard to guard just because he was using a lot of like ball screens whenever we played him. He was yeah, I'd say he was a pain. Just because I mean, whenever I was guarding him, he was running all over the floor, cutting off all these different ball screens and stuff, and then getting all these handoffs. So just you're always constantly running around.
Mm-hmm. That's what makes Steph Curry one of the hardest guys to guard, right? Oh, you watch film, he's always running around. Did you play him in AAU or in college?
No, we played him. I played him at Duke whenever I was at Southern Indiana. Yeah,
Did you go to Cameron too?
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
yeah. We
That
played Michigan State and Duke my sophomore year, so that was pretty
that
crazy.
is that's jeez, that's a big time jump.
Yeah.
Um, who's the funniest guy in the locker room?
Oh,
Or am I
I,
talking to him?
I don't know. A lot of people would say I'm funny, but I'd say probably Demarion. Oh, he's really funny.
Totally.
Him and Jaquan.
hmm this one is just kind of for me, right? I'm sort of a jersey nerd. I love looking at sick jerseys. Out of your whole college career, Southern Indiana, JMU, purple and black, gold, beautiful colors, or here, what jersey do you think you've worn that has been the coolest jersey, like your favorite jersey you've ever worn?
Um, I don't know. My year at Jamie, we had four, and we had like an all black one that was pretty lit.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know. Here, I gotta see what we got. I mean, I think we have a blue one, maybe. We got the Hilltop jersey, obviously, that we had just came out with revealed.
Those are clean.
Yeah, those are pretty clean. And then obviously our red and whites. But I don't know. Supposedly we have a blue one. I'm looking forward to that one, but
Yeah.
I don't
If
know.
if if we get a babe blue one, that one will be clean.
Yeah.
Um, and then right, we're still very early on in the season, so we got a lot of good non-conference games coming up, but also some good conference games. So what game on the schedule are you kind of circling is this? I'm really excited to play this game.
Um, yeah, I'd say either Drake, probably Drake, Illinois State, Carbondale.
Hmm.
Obviously Carbondale because they beat me in my sophomore year.
Hmm.
Whenever I was at Southern Indiana, whenever we played them. Indiana State, they beat me. I don't know, man. There's a lot of them. I feel like all the Valley schools I'm looking forward to.
Totally. Are there any non-conference games you're kind of looking forward to? I could think of one just because of the dude's name, NIU with JJ Taylor. I feel like that'll be awesome.
Yeah, I didn't even know he went there, but yeah, Northern Illinois should be a good game. Who else?
I think we play Washington State, right? If I'm not mistaken,
Yeah, they come here.
that'll be a good
And
one as
obviously
well.
San Francisco. I mean, I've never been out to the
Oh,
West Coast aside from whenever I was like 4 years old. So going back out there will be nice.
and they're another juggernaut, like great mid-major. Like we played them last year. I think we might. It's either we won by. It was a very close game. I don't remember who won exactly, but it's a like they're always an amazing, and they got a really good this offseason. I watch. I don't know if you know who Ryan Hammer is. On like Instagram and TikTok, he's like a college basketball guy. He did like a tour, and they got some good recruits, like transfers this past offseason. So it's going to be a good game, and I'm really excited for that. But last question, sort of to excite the Bradley fans. What's one message you want Bradley fans to know about you this season and this team?
Oh man, we got a lot of potential. I'll tell you that
Mm-hmm.
much. That's what I'll say about our team. We got a lot of potential. And then for me, just keep expecting a lot of steals.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, I just keep
Yeah,
getting a lot of steals.
averaging 3.5 steals.
I
I was looking
mean,
at your
yeah,
stats. I mean, it's 2 games, but still, 3.5 steals is legit. You might have to start talking your trash to Quan because he broke. It was the freshman Bradley record, right? Not the Bradley record.
I don't know honestly, but all I know is I always talk to him about who has more steals in practice, and I'm just like, hey, I'm up there. I'm in those passing lanes and the gaps. I'm always
You got
there.
it. You got to talk your smack when you got it. Until he beats you at it, you cannot let him live it down.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep holding them to, especially because I mean, heck, that's a defensive category. I mean, defense always attributes to winning, so
Exactly.
that's something I want to have a high steal at. I want to have a high
Totally.
average in as the steals for sure.
Totally. Well, AJ, thank you for taking time right out of your busy schedule to talk to you a little bit before about that. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of The John, your daily sports dump, where we plunge into everything sports and flush out the nonsense. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram for sports updates and hot takes in real time. Join me next time on The John, your daily sports dump, where we'll be liquidating assets of outdated sports stats. Until then, keep your game face on and stay regular.
Don't nobody go in the bathroom for about 35, 45 minutes. Somebody open the window.